Hello everyone, welcome back to Study. This is a short introductory video about glaucoma. We all know that it is the irreversible cause of the blindness. So the patient who has lost his vision due to the glaucoma cannot recover or regain his vision. So what is glaucoma? Let's see. It's just an introductory video so that we can know that what is glaucoma, what is the cause of glaucoma and what complications glaucoma can cause. So the glaucoma is a condition that damages the optic nerve. So the condition in which optic nerve is damaged, how we are going to discuss the cause later, but right now the condition which will damage the optic nerve is basically the glaucoma. So here you should know one thing, that it is due to the intraocular hypertension. The intraocular hypertension means that there is an increased pressure inside the eye. So due to the increased pressure inside the eye, what happens is, suppose this is a bowl. So when you fill the bowl with water, continuous water, so what will happen, that the size of bowl will increase ultimately. So at a time what will happen, that when the limit of the bowl or the balloon is done or is fulfilled, what will happen, that there will be the bursting of the balloon. So it will burst out. So our eye also act as a balloon. That what happens over here, that we all know in our eye there are different type of liquids or the liquid material or gel that maintains the shape of the eye. So we know that if that liquid will increase in pressure, so they will exert the pressure in the walls of the eye also. When there will be the pressure exerted on the wall of the eyelid, so optic nerve, that which is present at the base of the eye, will also be having a pressure over it. And when there is a sudden enlarged pressure on the optic nerve, what will happen, that the optic nerve will get damaged. So what is the glaucoma? It is a damage of the optic nerve due to the increased pressure in the eye. So when the pressure of the eye is increased, patient suffers from glaucoma because the optic nerve gets damaged, right? So now I have told you that the pressure is because when okay, one more important thing, let's see. We have said that in glaucoma, the optic nerve get damaged, it is because of the ocular hypertension, or it is due to the increased tension in the walls of the eye. So that walls of the eye or that increased pressure is due, why is it causing glaucoma, or why there is a high pressure inside the eye. We all know that if I'm going to draw again a balloon or a bowl, and there is one opening only from which you are going to fill the balloon, right? So the only way for the balloon to move in it is, see, it has a one path. So the blood or the water in the balloon is moving by a specific path, and there is no other path for the water to move out, right? So when there is no other path for the water to move out, what will it do? It will exert the pressure as the production is more, as the water incoming from outside to the balloon is more, but there is no passage for the water to move out. So due to that blockage, or there is no path of the drainage, what will happen, the production is so much that the balloon will burst out. So similar to this condition, what happens, that in our eye, the liquid, which is basically the aqueous humor, right? So the aqueous humor, okay, so the aqueous humor keeps on producing. So this is our eye, and here is the lens, suppose. Okay, okay, yeah. So what is over here? This is a lens. Here in the posterior chamber, the ciliary body is producing the tears, and the tears are moving from posterior chamber to the anterior chamber, and they are moving out from the anterior chamber angle. So at the iridocorneal junction, what does I mean is that this is the cornea and this is the iris. So here this junction between cornea and the iris makes an angle which is the anterior chamber angle, that helps in the drainage of the aqueous humor which is inside the anterior segment of the eye. So it keeps on producing and keeps on draining, but if there is any blockage in the pathway of the aqueous humor drainage, what will happen, that the IOP will unintentionally raise, right? So when intraocular pressure will raise, why? Because of the increased production of aqueous humor and decrease drainage of the aqueous humor from the eye. So that drainage is blocked, right? So why is the drainage blocked, or blockage, how blockage can cause the glaucomas, we are going to see. But before moving to the blockage, we should know that what is the drainage system. So the drainage system, as I've told you, that it is through the anterior chamber angle, and the anterior chamber angle is located at the iridocorneal junction, or cornea or iridocorneal junction, or the point where both cornea and iris meets inside the eye, that is the anterior chamber. So angles from where the drainage start, it has following structures. It has the trabecular meshwork, canal of Schlemm, it has aqueous vein and episcleral venous system through which it can move out. So this is the part of the drainage system. So it's just have done, it's not a blockage, we are just discussing about the drainage system. So here in the drainage system, we have some structures that will help the aqueous humor to move out of the eye. So it actually, we are going to discuss details later, but right now, so drainage system has these following structures, and if there is any blockage in these structures, right, if there is any foreign particle or any lipid particle, protein particle, or any particle that stuck over here, will cause the blockage of this drainage system, right? So now you can see over here in this picture, yeah, in this picture, this is a cornea and it's an iris. This is a lens. This is actually the half image of the anterior segment of the eye. So here you can see this is a lens. This is the posterior chamber, anterior chamber, and here is the zonules and ciliary body. So how aqueous humor is produced? It is produced from the ciliary body and it then moves to the posterior chamber, and from posterior chamber it moves to the anterior chamber, and from there it has two parts, that is uveoscleral outflow, that is from the uveal tract and scleral junctions, and it moves out of the eye. And other one, the 90% of drainage is from the trabecular meshwork or the anterior chamber angle. So these are the structures. You can see here is the trabecular meshwork, Schlemm canal, aqueous vein, episcleral vein, and then is the conjunctiva, and it actually drains out to the limbus, right? So this is a pathway of the normal drainage system of the eye. So in the normal drainage system of the aqueous humor, so what happens, that tear moves from posterior chamber to the anterior chamber. It nourishes the cornea and the structures which are in which it is circulating. Anterior chamber, it is maintaining the shape of the eye, and then it drains out continuously. But if there is any blockage in the anterior chamber angle or in any of the path, what will happen, that the anterior chamber from will be filled with aqueous humor. Ciliary body is continuously producing the aqueous humor, and there is no drainage system, or the 10% drainage by the uveoscleral is not enough for the aqueous humors to move out. So that will increase the pressure, and due to the increased pressure, it will exert a lot of pressure or tension to the walls of the eye. And ultimately, I have told you over here, I have drawn, I'll draw again. This is the eye. So here, this part is the optic nerve. So when the pressure exerted on the walls will give stretch, and it will exert pressure on the optic nerve too. When there will be the pressure on the optic nerve, there will be different pathologies of the optic nerve. Cup to disc ratio will be changed. Patient will have a lot of problems and vision issues as well, right? So now we are going to discuss the etiology. We have said you that how I have told you, discussed already, that how the aqueous humor is going, this all happens, or why glaucoma occurs. It is because of the increased intraocular pressure of the eye. This is because of the incomplete or blockage in the drainage system of the aqueous humor. And I have discussed all these points, that ciliary muscles will secrete them, ciliary body will secrete the aqueous humor, then it will move from the posterior to the anterior chamber, and then due to the various reasons, agar koi blockage ho gaya, if there is any kind of blockage, it will cause the problem. Now, due to the increased pressure in the eye, the optic nerve will get damaged. So first complication, this is actually the complication of increased pressure, that there will be the damage to the optic nerve. And optic nerve, we all know that it passes the impulses from the eye to brain, and if it is damaged, patient will have vision loss, right? So there will be the vision loss, permanent vision loss to the patient that cannot be regained again. So any loss by it will cause irreversible blindness to the patient. So here you can see this is a glaucomatous picture, that how if there is any drainage canal blockage, this can cause a lot of fluid that will stay in the eye. The production of aqueous humor keeps on continuing, or it keeps on going. So what will happen, that it will exert the pressure on the eye, and due to that pressure the nerve gets damaged, and due to the damage to the optic nerve, patient will have the complete vision loss, because there are no impulses or there are no signals. There is no one to take the signal from the retina to the brain, as optic nerve, the path, the connection between the brain and eye is damaged. So this is the glaucoma. It is an introduction all about glaucoma. In other videos we are going to discuss in detail, and we are also going to discuss further types of glaucoma. So stay tuned to Study. Thank you so much.